And if anyone here is new, I'm Alicia. My pronouns are she and her. I'm joining you on the native lands of the Tunaha, Spokane, and Shushuamps tribes, now known as Spokane, Washington. Hey Breeze, good to see you again. This will be a fully seated chair class. So I have my sturdy chair on a non-skid surface. I also have a couple of blankets and a firm throw pillow handy. So we'll be, as I mentioned, fully seated. So let me know in the chat if there's anything specific that you would like to cover today. Any special requests. You can also let me know how you're doing. And in the meantime, I'll watch the chat, but let's go ahead and get situated in the chair. We want to start with getting our feet flat on the floor. So I roughly have my knees under, or excuse me, my ankles under my knees, or you could have them slightly in front. It's whatever's going to give you the most stable base. So if your legs are shorter, maybe your feet don't feel firmly planted on the floor, you could bring in one of your folded blankets under the feet to raise the floor up to you. And my legs are on the longer side, so oftentimes I like to sit up on a folded blanket. So know there's a couple options there to adjust your height. I also like to take the skin out and back from each hip so that I can feel my sitting bones more firmly in the chair. And I'm also towards the front of my chair, and that may or may not work for you. Another few options would be taking that firm throw pillow, tucking it in behind your back, filling up that space, some of the space between your back and the backrest of the chair. Or if you'd like still more support, go ahead and scoot all the way back in your chair and use that full support of the backrest. So as you're making your adjustments, let's feel our feet flat on the floor, our bum in the chair, and then from that base, let's let our spine lengthen up comfortably tall from the sitting bones all the way through the top of the head. We can roll the shoulders forward up towards the ears, and then let the shoulders soften back and down. And you can also try a very light tuck of the chin towards the throat. Imagine you have something soft and light, maybe like a washcloth on your head, and you're very gently lengthening up into that washcloth. That can help bring your head more back over the shoulders. And then from this overall basic alignment, customizing it to suit yourself today, let's see if we can find some ease here, balancing between the effort and the ease. If you haven't practiced with me before, I like to remind you this is completely your practice. So anything that I'm going to offer, think of those as invitations. And then what's most important is that you tune into your own bodily wisdom and your own inner teacher and let those be your primary guides. And you're welcome to soften the gaze or close the eyes. I'm going to invite the bell in a moment. That will drop us into the centering portion of our practice. From there, we'll transition to some gentle, fully seated movements, and we'll finish up with some breath work and some integration and relaxation time. So again, gaze can be softened down or eyes can be fully closed, and I'll invite the bell to drop us in. So as we're each getting settled into our own space, let's take a moment to acknowledge that the tradition of yoga originated thousands of years ago. in ancient India. And then shifting gears, starting to turn the attention more inward. Let's start with feeling the sensations in the feet. Feeling into your base, into grounding there. You could even wiggle the toes. That might help direct the awareness more into the feet. And feel that firmness and solidity there. You might also pick up on changes in temperature or texture. And you might even feel the subtleties of the feet from the outside in and what that's like. And how about, do you notice anything from the inside out? There's just a subtle change there. So there's no right or wrong to any of this. We're just tuning into whatever is true for each of us individually. You can also, with the hands on the thighs, you could hinge forward slightly, adding some additional pressure down through the lower legs and into the feet and the floor. And notice how that might change the sensations there. Staying curious and exploring, being open to whatever you're noticing. If you were adding that pressure down through the knees and into the legs, you can hinge back up. And then moving on up to your bum in the chair. Maybe you'd like to shift your weight a bit side to side or forward and back. And how does this part of your base feel? What kind of sensations are you noticing there? And taking a moment to physically ground yourself is a tool that you can come back to throughout your day when you feel like you might need it. It's something you can do that nobody else is even going to know you're doing it. You're just starting to turn your awareness inward and feel into the sensations in your body that are already there, but oftentimes we're up in our head thinking, doing other things, and we're not even noticing the subtlety that we can sense through our bodies and that can help bring us back home to ourselves. And then let's start to broaden the awareness out further, picking up on any other sensations throughout the body that maybe don't have to do directly with our base. And sensations we're going to come across in the body aren't always pleasant or neutral. So if you have a sensation that's unpleasant or painful, you could shift your position if that would help. You could offer some gentle, supportive touch to that area, maybe a gentle massage. But there's also a place sometimes for acceptance and acknowledgement of certain unpleasant sensations. Maybe you have something ongoing that you're working with, and you know that it's probably not going to go away during your practice. So how can you approach that? Can you offer it some tenderness and compassion? And maybe try, even though it's difficult, can you try to accept it for what it is right now? Without adding that additional pressure of trying to push it away. And maybe you're starting to pick up on other senses. There could be sounds, tastes, smells, sights, even if the eyes are closed. Just being open to all of it. Being that, as best you can, that neutral witness to whatever's happening in and around you. And then let's shift gears again, starting to connect with the breath. Sometimes I like to put a hand on my belly, or one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. And without trying to change the breath in an intentional way, begin observing your breath exactly as it is in this moment. Noticing the different sensations and movements of the body on the inhale, as well as on the exhale. And acknowledging any thoughts or emotions that are arising for you. And something I'd like to try to focus on today for a theme is welcoming yourself home. Welcoming yourself home, back to your body. And your mind, your breath. Whenever you're feeling ready, you can open the eyes if they were closed, or lift the gaze. And take a moment to visually reorient to your space. You can look around, trying to let go of any judgment of the things you're seeing. Just taking it in as neutral information. And if you're ready, maybe you start to also bring in some intuitive movement as you're looking around your space. We had a few moments to quiet the mind and the body, so were there any places of movement that the body was asking for? And if you don't really have an answer to that question, just start moving in some sort of way that seems interesting and see how it feels. And start that conversation back and forth with your body today. The conversation may be different than any other time before. Each moment is unique in its own way. So what you needed yesterday may be different than what you need today. So can you go ahead and try honoring whatever you feel like you need today? And whenever you're complete with those movements, let's all reset, find your base again, and meet back at center. Let's start with some circles of the torso. You can have the hands on the thighs for support. And you're setting your own pace, your own size of the circle. But you do have the option to link up the movement to the breath. You could try inhaling as you come back and exhaling as you come forward. That's my preference. When I come forward, that's when the belly gets compressed more, so that seems like a natural place for the exhale. But tune into what feels best for you and go with that. And along with this theme of coming home to ourselves, if closing the eyes throughout the practice feels supportive to you, that might help take your attention more to the inside. So you can play with that, how it changes things. Next time we come through center, let's reverse and go the opposite direction. Are there any differences that you notice one direction to the other? You might tune into the feeling of weight shifting from one sitting bone to the other, one foot to the other. You might feel your spine lengthen as you come forward. What are you noticing about this experience? That's what's most important. I'm just throwing out some ideas. And whenever you're feeling even both ways, let's come on back through center again. Re-lengthening the spine, letting the shoulders soften down. With your next exhale, let's tuck the chin first towards the throat, and then you can roll the chin any amount more in the direction of the chest. Next inhale, roll one ear towards the shoulder. And exhale, rolling the chin back towards the chest. And inhale, opposite ear towards the shoulder. And from here, find your own rhythm. Again, you have the option to let your breath be the guide and then match the pace of your movement to whatever the natural pace of your breath is, bringing the two together. You also have the option next time you have an ear towards the shoulder, you can play with extending the opposite arm and exploring different movements with that arm. Noticing how it might change the sensations in that side of the neck and the shoulder and down into the arm. Really experimenting, being playful. And when you feel complete with that side, you can roll the chin down back through center and take it to the other side and maybe extend the opposite arm. And then explore that side, noticing similarities and differences. You might need something different on one side as compared to the other. That's perfectly normal. Let's finish up with one more roll to each side. And finish up rolling back up through center. Let's take the fingertips to the back of the head, just gently touching the back of the head. We're not pulling the head forward. With our next inhale, let's take the elbows, gently press back, lift through the chest. Maybe your gaze comes up slightly, so you're bringing an arch into your back here as you're inhaling. And then on the exhale, let's round the back, bring the elbows forward, and tuck the chin. Making sure you're keeping your fingertips really light on the back of your head. Inhale, opening the chest, elbows coming back, gaze coming up slightly. And then exhale, rounding the back, elbows coming forward, tucking the chin. And same thing here, find your own rhythm. And if you'd like, linking the movement to your natural breath, letting the breath guide you. Letting your breath set your pace of movement. Let's do one more round like this. And then now let's take the arms wide, palms facing forward, thumbs facing up. Arms come back on the inhale, and then exhale, wrapping the arms around for a hug. So similar movement with your spine, arching as you come forward, rounding as you come back. But notice how this is different than when you had your fingertips on the back of the head. It might feel like you're kind of working your way down the spine. Let's do one more round of this. And then next we'll take the hands to the thighs, sliding the hands towards the hip creases as you inhale, elbows close into the body, elbows coming back, chest lifting, gaze lifting, and exhale, hands sliding towards the knees, fingertips towards the knees, round the back, tuck the chin. And then how does moving your hands down further change this movement yet again? Let's do one more round here. Finishing lengthening your spine tall, letting your shoulders soften. And let's take a pause here and notice how you're feeling. You might even think to yourself, welcome home. Welcome home. Feeling your points of grounding through your feet and your seat. Observing the qualities of your breath. And noticing the qualities of your thoughts and emotions. There's no right or wrong answers. Notice if anything has shifted from the beginning of the practice until now. And maybe it hasn't. That's an option too. Welcome home. As you're feeling ready, let's heel toe the legs wider. Ankles are still roughly under the knees or slightly in front. So if you find your knees falling in, you can use your muscles to press them out. Or maybe that means you want to take your stance a little bit less wide so your knees are more naturally over your ankles and feet. Let's inhale to lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders. And on the exhale, let's hinge forward from the hips. So let the movement forward come from the hips rather than hunching the spine down. So let's try to keep the chest open, the spine long. You can have your hands on your thighs for support as you're hinging forward. If there's more space, you can always come down to your forearms. Really feeling length from your sitting bones all the way through the top of your head. If you find there's still more space and you want, you can walk the hands down the legs towards the feet or the floor. And whenever you get to where you feel like you're going, you could release the head down last. Maybe slowly nodding the head yes. Shaking the head no. Taking your time with this. Let's do one more full breath wherever you're at. And then press down through the feet, engage the belly. You can use your hands to walk yourself back up, taking your time, letting yourself reacclimate as you come up in case there's any dizziness or lightheadedness, letting your shoulders settle again. Let's do a few shoulder rolls, bringing them forward, up towards the ears, and back and down. You might inhale as you take the shoulders forward and up, and exhale as they come back and down. Let's do one more of these. And when you come through center, let's then lift the shoulders straight up towards the ears and exhale, slowly lower down. Really heavy at the bottom. Hey Ken, inhale to lift, exhale to lower. One more of these. And then let's reverse and take the shoulders in the opposite direction. So you might inhale as you take them forward and up, and exhale as they come back and down. And I found myself somehow reversing and going the opposite direction. Let's do one more wherever you're at. And let's give the arms a shake out. Let's go ahead and roll the wrists one direction and other direction. Let's open the hands, flick the fingers. You can flick the fingers in different directions. You can get high and low. Let's bring in a little bit of twisting with this. Just real gentle twists, taking your flicks from side to side, up and down. Let's take it once more to each side. Shake all that out. And then let's let the arms hang at the sides. So depending on your chair, maybe that means that your fingertips will be able to touch the bottom of the seat of your chair. We're going to move side to side so you'll kind of see how this balances out. So we're going to inhale and center, and on the exhale, let's lean one direction. So maybe if you're leaning towards the left, maybe your left hand's coming to the seat of your chair and your right hand is sliding up towards the right hip. Inhale back to center, exhale, lean towards the right. So make sure you're staying nice and stable in your chair. I have my legs a bit wider than hip distance, so it's stabilizing my base a bit more. And I'm also having the option to grip the seat of my chair if I want to. So we've taken the spine forward and back. We've done a little bit of twisting, and now we're taking the spine side to side. So you can stay right here, or if you'd like, you could take that top arm up, lengthening it alongside the ear. So notice this is going to change your center of gravity, and that might mean maybe you don't go as far, so you can keep both sides of your bum planted in the chair. If you're extending the arm, think of a long line from your hip all the way out through the fingertips. Inhale back to center. Exhale, taking it to the opposite side. And you can also play with where it's most comfortable to have your gaze. It could be straight ahead, it could be towards the floor, or up towards the fingertips if you have the arm extended. And maybe you play with a few different things, seeing what feels best. And you might need something different from side to side. So let's go ahead and normalize that. Let's take it once more to each side. And then let's take our hands to the lower back of the chair. Let's inhale as we lengthen the spine. You might even press down through the hands slightly, opening and lifting the chest, bringing your elbows back, your shoulders back and down, and maybe your gaze comes up slightly, so opening the front side of the body. Let's take 3 full breaths here. After your third exhale, whenever it comes, release the arms, shake out the hands, and let's heel toe the feet back more towards hip width distance. So we'll give a couple of options here. Let's root down through the left leg and foot. First option would be to take your right foot in more towards your left and let your right knee fall out. So you're coming onto the outside blade of the right foot. See how that's feeling for you. Another option, well, there's several. I'm going to give you even a third option. You could also take your feet, both of them a little more forward and towards the center, and cross the right ankle over the left. And then last option would be to keep that left leg and foot in close where you had it, and you can take the right ankle up over the left knee. So if you get up here and feel like this is too much, no problem, just take it back down, try one of those other options. And let's let the whole base here shift a little bit side to side. Letting it be nice and loose. It'll look slightly different depending on how you have your legs positioned and your feet. So follow what's feeling best for you. Let's bring everything back towards center. And then option 2, lift and lower that right knee. You could even take your right hand under the knee for some extra support and lift. Let's let that right knee settle. Wherever you're at, let's inhale to lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders, and then on the exhale, again hinging forward from the hips, so that means keeping the chest open and the spine long rather than hunching down. So lengthening from the sitting bones all the way through the top of the head, and then simply hinging forward however much that is feeling natural. That may mean it doesn't look like you're coming forward nearly as far as it would look if you were letting your spine round down. Let's take 3 full breaths here. After your third exhale, pressing down through the foot or the feet, depending on your position, and slowly hinging back up. Let's bring that right foot back to the floor if it's not there already. And let's do a few bends of the knee. So let's lengthen the right leg, heel down, and then bend the knee. Let's inhale to lengthen. We're still keeping that right knee soft, not locking it out. Exhale, bending. So find your own pace here. And you can stay right here, or if you'd like, when you bring it back in, you could give a little hug up of the knee. Touch down, and then lengthen. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to hug if you're doing that. Let's do one more wherever you're at. And let's give the legs a shake out. Still staying with the right leg, let's root down through the left leg and foot. Extend the right leg again, heel down, soft right knee. And with the foot flexed back, let's windshield wiper that whole right leg side to side. By flexing the foot back, that allows your whole leg to move as a unit. You might even notice some movement all the way up to the hip. Let's bring the foot back through center. Let's roll the ankle one direction and other direction. Let's point and flex the foot. Wiggle the toes. Then let's flex the foot back softly. Let's root down through the left leg and foot. Inhale to re-lengthen the spine, softening the shoulders as well. And then on the next exhale, hinging forward from the hips again, keeping the chest open and the spine long. This might be more comfortable if you're towards the front of your chair, but see what's working for you. We're trying to find some length in the back of that right leg. You can always take the right hand, smooth the belly towards the center, even take that left leg a bit wider to make space for the belly. On your next inhale, let's press down through the feet to hinge back up. And let's bring the right foot back to meet the left. And let's take a pause here again, check in. We've done a lot on the right leg before we've done the left, so check in, notice if you feel any differences side to side. Sometimes I think that's just kind of fun to check in and see what differences there are, if any. Reconnect to your base through your feet and your seat. Notice your breath. Any thoughts or emotions that are arising. And just remind yourself, welcome home. And we'll go ahead and do the other side. So we'll root down through the right leg and foot. I'll run through the options again here. You can bring the left foot in towards the right. Let the left knee fall out, coming onto the outside blade of the left foot. You could take both feet more towards the center and out front, crossing the left ankle over the right. Or you could keep that right foot back in where it was and take the left ankle up over the right knee. Again, check in, honor any differences side to side. If you need something completely different on this side, honor that. You have the option to start with some rocking side to side. Bring everything back towards center. Option to lift and lower the left knee. Letting the knee settle. Wherever position you're in, let's inhale, lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders, and then on your next exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Keeping that spine long, the chest open, the shoulders soft. And keep the breath flowing. Sometimes if you find you're holding your breath, that might mean you're trying to go too far. You can also check in with your lips and your jaw and tongue, the inside of your mouth, re-soften those. On your next inhale, let's press down through the foot or the feet. to come back up. And let's bring both feet to the ground. Give the legs a shake out. We'll root down through the right leg and foot and get some bending and lengthening in the left knee. So let's inhale, lengthen the left leg, keeping that knee soft. Exhale, bend, bring the left foot back in. Finding your own rhythm here. And you could stay right here, or if you'd like to bring in a hug of the knee as you bring it back in, you can. It's much more challenging for the balance. And I'm also noticing it's much more challenging for me on this side. So what are you noticing for yourself? You could also play with not lifting the knee as high. Let's do one more wherever you're at. And give it another shake out. Then let's take that left leg long again, soft left knee, heel on the floor, foot flexed back, and then windshield wipering the left foot and leg side to side. Let's roll the left ankle one direction, other direction. Let's point and flex. Wiggle the toes. And then let's flex that left foot back. Inhale to lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, hinging forward from the hips again. Soft left knee. You can always smooth the belly towards the center or take that right knee wider to make space for the belly. On your next inhale, let's press down through the feet to hinge back up. And then let's go ahead and take any other intuitive movements that you would like to take before we settle in for some integration and relaxation time. Maybe there were some areas we didn't get into that your body's still asking for. And whenever you're feeling complete with that, let's go ahead and get set up here. You may have that extra pillow if you want to bring it in, and you can bring it in behind you for your low back if you want, or your upper back. Hey Priscilla, hopefully you'll be here through the practice, and I'll get you some information on that. If not, message me after class. I'll let you know. Let's take your extra blanket and open it up wide. And fold it in half the long direction. We're going to make a roll to support the back of our neck. and then roll it down so you're heading towards a scarf type shape. And you can take that around behind the back of the neck, depending on your preference and the length of your blanket. You could cross in front and then tuck it under your armpits, or maybe you just tuck it straight away under the armpits and adjust how much tension is on the back of your neck. So you want some support, but you don't want it pulling forward too much. And then you might lengthen your legs some, but now we're setting up for relaxation. So what kind of adjustments might you want to make to find the most amount of ease and comfort as you can in your chair? You can soften the gaze or close the eyes down. Let's bring in a few bees breaths to help us settle. So to do that, we'll inhale through the nose, and then on the exhale, you make kind of a humming sound, a buzzing sound in a way with your mouth closed. So we can give it a try a few times. Inhale through the nose, exhale, mouth closed. And making this sound kind of constricts the back of your throat a little bit, so that helps to slow down the exhale. And slowing down your exhale is something that can be down regulating for the nervous system. So if you like that, give it a try a few more times. Whenever you're ready, you can let that go. Notice if you still feel any of that vibration resonating. Let's feel into the feet again, what it's like to have the feet on the floor, the sensations there. Coming up through the ankles, lower legs, knees, upper legs, hips and bum. Go ahead and make any adjustments to the lower part of the body that would add to your ease and comfort. And on your next exhale, let the lower part of the body be soft and heavy. Welcome home. Coming up to the lower back, middle back, upper back, the belly, chest, shoulders, upper arms, elbows, lower arms, wrists and hands. Making any adjustments to the middle part of the body. And then on your next exhale, letting that middle part of the body be soft and heavy. Welcome home. Coming into the neck, jaw, lips, tongue and inside of the mouth, cheeks, nose, eyes, ears, back of the head, forehead, and top of the head. Making any adjustments to the head and neck. And then on the next exhale, allowing the head and neck to also be soft and heavy. Welcome home. Taking your own time, let's invite small movements back into the body. You could start out at the fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, and gradually working your way in towards some larger movements. Whatever feels best to wake the body back up again. Opening the eyes if they were closed, or lifting the gaze and visually reconnecting to what's around you. If you'd like to join me to close, you could take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. May I greet my body with gentleness. May I soften when life invites me to harden. May I listen to my intuition with wisdom and trust it with ease. And may I appreciate my body a little more in this moment, just as it is. And then we can bring the hands together in front of the heart. Let's take one breath together. We'll inhale and exhale. Thank you all so much for choosing to share your time and your practice with me today.